While some K-drama actors seem untouchable and perfect, not everyone leads as perfect of a life behind the scenes, as many have even been accused of having a big attitude, and sometimes even being downright rude. Song Joongki has long been one of Korea's most celebrated leading men, but a series of recent incidents has sparked an unexpectedly heated debate over his manners. While Joongki's career has been very long, netizens have noticed how, over the years, there have been several instances where he seems to throw that professionalism out the window, especially in his personal life. For example, just last month, fans weren't too pleased to see how Joongki portrayed his wife in a recent video. The video started innocently enough as Joongki chatted about his newlywed life and proudly listed his British wife, Katie Louise Saunders's, wide-ranging culinary skills from Italian to Colombian to traditional Korean dishes. But while bragging about her cooking, things suddenly took a turn when he seemed to refer to her using the Korean term gaye, which literally means that person, but is often used in casual context between people of equal status or younger. However, hearing this, many netizens seemed to jump onto the way he delivered the comment, especially when he used it so dismissively in front of a camera meant for thousands to see, as this wasn't just a private moment between the two of them. Many went as far as calling it extremely disrespectful to his wife, as he wasn't showing her the respect she deserved, but instead seemed fine with showing the world that she didn't matter much. Comments flooded in saying things like, "Do you really use the term that person when referring to your wife?" And "It feels like praising a dog for being clever and cute." Others even brought up the fact that all he seems to praise about her is her cooking and her stay-at-home chores, something which many saw as a sign of why he might not be addressing her with the respect she deserves. One netizen wrote, "His current wife is well-educated and fluent in foreign languages, but does he just expect her to stay home and cook? Why marry someone smart if you're going to treat her this way?" And while pointing out the fact that perhaps because his wife is foreign, it's not as important for him to address her with the same kind of honorifics that are usually expected of him, others argued that even in other international relationships, it's never been normal to refer to your spouse as that person. However, coming to his defense, native speakers pointed out that gay can be neutral and even affectionate in everyday speech and is not automatically disrespectful. Supporters also argued that the couple may use the word casually at home and that Joongki likely meant no harm. Still, that didn't stop many from viewing his behavior as not only careless but also disrespectful, especially seeing as a big part of his audience places weight on language that reflects hierarchy and respect. Things unfortunately didn't cool down after that, as only weeks later, attention shifted to the actor's professional life when his long-delayed crime thriller, Bogota: City of the Lost, opened to some underwhelming box office numbers. During a promotional event, Joongki even grew emotional while thanking audiences for simply giving the movie a chance, as he explained that Korean cinema is going through a difficult time before choking up mid-sentence. The clip of him wiping away tears went viral and split viewers once again, as many praised his vulnerability and passion, while others saw it as simple crocodile tears, suggesting that a wealthy A-lister crying over his film doing badly was tone-deaf when independent filmmakers have a much harder time even getting to those numbers. Personal attacks followed, with many even going as far as to mock his income and family background, dragging him into yet another scandal. But what truly fueled this conversation is the fact that this isn't the first year that Joongki has gotten into trouble for his behavior, as it even reached the Korean press back in 2023. At the 7th annual Golden Raspberry Festival, which some might know as an industry poll of film journalists for the year's worst attitudes, Joongki landed in a tie for third place with actor Lee Dong-hui. Voters specifically cited his rude exchanges with reporters when asked about his private life, as many believed he had acted extremely unprofessionally when confronted by the press. One example came from an October press moment when a journalist was asking him questions about his wife, which Joongki didn't seem to care to answer, but instead of dismissing the questions respectfully, he actually responded with a dry, "Are you writing a novel?" At the time, the remark seemed to draw laughter from some in the room but was labeled snide by others online and in the media, especially since the professional context should have warranted a more professional answer. A similar moment also occurred around the same time, but at an airport where paparazzi and reporters crowded around him. When someone asked if he had chosen a name for his newborn son, yet Joongki shot back with, "Why would I tell you that?" before quickly adding, "It's a joke, of course I've decided." The brief clip circulated widely on social media, with many viewers criticizing his attitude, one comment even saying, "Not saying he's wrong, just most civilized people would tell you a child's name. He thinks he's somebody, I guess." Yet, an equally vocal group defended him, arguing that the questions themselves were intrusive and that they had no place outside of official interviews. Some users insisted that he was just protecting his family, while others pointed out that Korean celebrities have long been hounded for private details and that a bit of sarcasm was understandable. Someone wrote, "As much as I dislike this man, he's absolutely right. Why he got to tell you anything about his son?" One fan also tweeted, "People hate him for the dumbest reasons. He has every right to protect his family's privacy. The question was rude, not his response. Leave him alone." However, even official interviews can sometimes go wrong, as during one of Song Joongki's most recent promotional runs, things took a dramatic turn when an offhand remark about late-night outings ignited accusations of his old-fashioned thinking. During a talk show appearance to promote his film Bogota, City of the Lost, Joongki was asked how he would feel if his partner went drinking with male friends after 10 p.m. He began by saying, "I don't pay much attention to this," but then very firmly added that 10 p.m. is bedtime, which many interpreted as a strict rule against his wife staying out late with male friends. The comment quickly shot to number 2 on Weibo's hot search list, and even dominated Korean and Chinese entertainment forums as critics called the statement patriarchal, arguing that it hinted at a very controlling streak. One widely shared post read, "It feels like all he needs is a beautiful, confident woman who can give birth to him," while another added, "Actors must interact with people constantly. If you have such requirements, you shouldn't marry someone in the industry." Some went further, drawing connections to Joongki's past marriage to actress Song Yejin. Because she has always been career-oriented and independent, these commenters speculated that similar attitudes about late-night socializing could have contributed to their 2019 divorce, with comments even saying that Hyeokyo made the right choice divorcing him. But not everyone saw the wrongness in his statement, as some also saw the line as being more protective than possessive. Supporters pointed out that his statement could be taken as a joke, and that even if it wasn't, late-night drinking can indeed be risky, even if you trust everyone around you. One commenter said that the request wasn't excessive, explaining that they also didn't like their husband drinking with people of the opposite sex at night. Others emphasized that couples are free to set their own boundaries, and that the uproar said more about social media's appetite for controversy than about Joongki's marriage or thinking. However, the debate is nothing new for the actor, as he himself has even talked about how he is well aware of the fact that he can have quite a temper at times. Longtime fans recall that back in 2013, on Park So-hyun's Love Game, Joongki openly described himself as quite hot-tempered. Asked whether he was truly a nice guy, he confessed that he catches himself lashing out at times. "I tend to speak out when I feel like I'm not being treated fairly at work. I also get angry when co-workers act rudely. Once, I actually yelled at an older actor." The admission startled listeners, resulting in Joongki sheepishly apologizing for the story, also noting that even his close friend Lee Kwang-soo had advised him to control his emotions better. Even with the admittance being over 10 years ago, it doesn't seem like much has changed since then, as fans truly can recognize a lot of his words in his behavior to this day. However, in a more recent Arena Home Plus interview where he reflected on his career, Joongki surprised viewers by admitting he dislikes rudeness so intensely that it can spark conflict. He said, "I think I'm good at putting up with most things, but I can't stand it when I feel someone is being rude beyond common sense." The irony of those words was not lost on netizens who had spent months debating whether his own quips to journalists and critics were impolite. And seeing as he even admitted to having a bad temper himself, many were once again put off by his behavior. Coupled with the fact that he doesn't seem to mind addressing his wife with what netizens interpret as disrespectful words, and even had a bedtime for her, it's not hard to see why he was once put on a Rudest celebrities list. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more news regarding your favorite actors, and don't forget to let us know what you think of this behavior in the comments down below. But Song Joongki isn't the only actor whose behavior raised eyebrows. Son Yejin's personality off-screen has left fans wondering what she's really like. Son Yejin's long-awaited return to acting was supposed to be a remarkable moment in her career, but instead, a joke gone wrong has sparked a massive controversy surrounding her behavior behind the scenes. Over the course of her long career, Yejin has achieved one success after another, drawing positive reviews from critics and gathering a huge fan base. In 2020, her popularity reached new heights thanks to the massive global success of her series Crash Landing on You, but since then, she hasn't done much, and her only acting project was the 2022 drama 39. During her long hiatus, Yejin married her Crash Landing on You co-star Hyun Bin, and the couple had their first child in 2022. After years of anticipation, netizens couldn't wait to see Yejin's return to acting in 2025 with the movie No Other Choice, which would also mark her first appearance on the big screen since 2018. However, an expected controversy has suddenly cast a shadow over Yejin's entire career, and her reputation as a beloved celebrity is now at risk. In the lead up to the release of her new project on August 19th, Yejin attended a production briefing alongside her co-stars, including Lee Byung-hun. A lot of interesting behind-the-scenes details were revealed during the press conference, and Yejin even confessed that she had some problems with her performance while filming the movie. She explained that she trained for 3 months to prepare for her dance scenes, but when it was finally time to film, the director was very disappointed with her. He even bluntly told her that no matter how much she practiced, her skills were just not meeting his expectations. Yejin revealed that she was shocked, not only because she thought she was doing well, but also for the way the director simply told her she wasn't good enough. She added that it was a very humbling experience as she felt like a rookie again, and in the end, those scenes were cut from the movie. While this was a serious problem for her during filming, Yejin tried to keep the mood at the press conference lighthearted and joked about this issue. Then, Yejin discussed how becoming a mother has influenced her acting performance, explaining that now it's easier for her to portray warm and affectionate characters, and she was trying to be more responsible on the set too. After this apparently innocent and even heartwarming revelation, Byung-hun suddenly stepped in, and this is when things started to go wrong. In what was intended to be a joke, he stated that what he saw on the set was very different from what Yejin was saying. Byung-hun revealed that while filming the movie, child actress Choi So-yul always had a ton of questions, and he answered everything even when he was caught off guard. Instead, Yejin didn't help So-yul at all, and when Byung-hun asked her to answer some questions, she replied that he should handle it for her. Byung-hun concluded by saying that he now realizes that Yejin was cherishing her time on the set in her own way, drawing laughter from the journalists in attendance. Flustered by these comments, Yejin tried to explain herself, saying that she understood that So-yul was really curious and had a lot of questions, but since she had a lot of emotional lines and a detailed direction to follow, she didn't want to lose her focus. While Byung-hun's statements were originally delivered in a joking manner, netizens took them very seriously, and many started questioning Yejin's behavior on the set, sparking a massive controversy. Some people online interpreted what Byung-hun said as a sign that Yejin was being too cold and dismissive towards the child actress, while others argued that these statements were just a joke and shouldn't be taken too literally or seriously. As the discussion online quickly became heated, So-yul's mother stepped in to clarify the situation. On August 24th, she responded to fans' questions about the controversy on social media, saying that Byung-hun's statements really surprised her. She argued that what he said was actually just a fun and lighthearted anecdote that was shared jokingly, adding that one day she will tell the full story. So-yul's mother then defended Yejin, saying that she was always very kind and arguing that Byung-hun's joke was unfairly blown out of proportion. To prove her point, she revealed that Yejin gifted a hard-to-find toy to So-yul, which she described as the best Christmas present ever. So-yul's mother kept expressing gratitude towards Yejin, sharing more supportive and affectionate messages directed at her on social media. However, this didn't really calm down the controversy. controversy. Several netizens argued that Yejin should have helped So Yul at least a bit on the set, and some even think that when she acted nice, she was simply being fake. Many were disappointed by Yejin's apparent lack of manners, while others instead criticized Byung-hun, arguing that his attempt at humor was too insensitive. At this point, netizens started to look for clues about Yejin's real personality to understand whether she was faking her nice behavior or not, and several old clips have now resurfaced. In particular, a clip from Yejin's appearance on an episode of the TV show Infinite Challenge in 2014 sparked a heated debate. During that episode, Yejin had to prank the cast of the show by pretending to be unmotivated and emotionally distressed during rehearsals. Not only did she succeed, but she pulled off the prank a bit too well, and when she burst into tears, she caused alarm among the cast members. When she suddenly revealed that her tears were fake, her co-stars were very surprised, but the reactions were somewhat mixed, with some cast members joking that she came off as too ill-tempered. After seeing this clip, some netizens argued that this proves how well she's able to fake her feelings, while others said that she was simply being a good actress. Adding even more fuel to the fire, a statement made by Go Ara during a press conference in 2003 has also resurfaced. Back then, Ara was just 13 years old, and she shockingly said, "The directors say Son Yejin is fake. I think so too." At the time, these remarks sparked an uproar, and the backlash led Ara's agency, SM Entertainment, to clarify her statements, arguing that she was too young to understand the negative connotation of the word fake, adding that she was simply trying to give Yejin a compliment about her acting abilities. Ara then apologized and emphasized that she admired Yejin, but the comment still resurfaces every time Yejin's behavior is questioned. While public scrutiny of Yejin's behavior was growing, netizens noticed on August 27th that she had deleted her secondary Instagram account, while her primary account no longer follows any users. Previously, it only followed her second account. What's even more surprising is that Yejin's second account was only opened this past June, and fans absolutely loved it as it provided a rare glimpse into her private life, often in a lighthearted and humorous way. The account had childcare posts, personal photos, and playful content, but suddenly it was all gone. Since Yejin didn't announce the account's closure beforehand, netizens immediately began speculating that the unexpected deletion was a consequence of the controversy surrounding her behavior behind the scenes. Some have argued that since the second account included many personal posts, Yejin deleted it to avoid facing even more scrutiny or misinterpretation. Others instead argued that the decision might just be temporary and maybe Yejin just wants a bit more privacy. Another possibility that netizens discussed is that Yejin might have decided to delete the second account after receiving too many malicious comments. However, Yejin soon explained that this wasn't the case. In the caption of a photo posted on her main account, Yejin wrote, "You must have been surprised that the sub account suddenly got deleted, right? I don't know why it happened either, but I will restore it as soon as possible." Soon afterwards, Yejin's agency released a statement about the deletion of the second account. They explained that the account wasn't closed by Yejin and they still aren't sure why it isn't available anymore. The agency added that the account might have been hacked, or maybe it was automatically blocked due to AI-related issues. But in any case, they stated that they will do whatever is needed to restore it as soon as possible. If this is true, it means that the account's closure was just a technical issue with really bad timing instead of a consequence of her recent controversy. In any case, after years, if not decades, of being celebrated for her elegance and professionalism, Yejin is now facing a serious crisis, as many netizens have already changed their opinion on her. However, some think that this entire controversy has been massively inflated, and Byung-hun's joke should have never been taken seriously. A few netizens have even argued that people were just waiting for any reason to criticize Yejin since she never really had a big scandal during her long career, while others think that some netizens don't like her either because of jealousy or because she's always able to overcome any criticism. Some also think that this shouldn't be a scandal about Yejin but about Byung-hun, arguing that his inappropriate joke was just another instance of questionable behavior from him. In the early days of her career, Yejin was dubbed the nation's first love, and she went on to become one of the most popular and beloved celebrities in Korean entertainment. Now, a single innocent joke might seriously hurt her reputation, and only time will tell if her career will suffer from this controversy or if she will be able to overcome another scandal. And And while some surprises are subtle, others are downright shocking, revealing that many actors aren't as polite as they seem on screen. Korean actors often try to convey an image of kindness and friendliness to their fans and the public, but some of them are actually hiding their true personalities and are actually very rude in real life. At the end of 2024, Korean media outlet Sportscon conducted its annual survey among 51 reporters who are active in the movie and entertainment industry, and they voted on which actors were the worst-mannered throughout the year. The list that came out of this survey includes some surprising names, and while various actors were initially selected for this category, 2 celebrities were so rude that they received some votes despite the fact that they weren't even nominated in the first place. One of these was Kwak Do-won, who received 9 votes from reporters. The reason why many journalists selected him was his involvement in a scandal that dates back to September 2022 when Do-won was arrested for driving under the influence. At the time, he was busy filming the movie Firefighters, and his arrest caused the entire production of the film to be halted for some time. The movie was already facing a lot of problems because of the pandemic, and after several delays, it was finally released in December 2024. During a press conference to present the movie, the director of the film was very honest about the DUI that jeopardized the release. The director explained that the movie was already going through post-production when the incident happened, and he felt a lot of anger and resentment towards Do-won when he learned that he was arrested. He added that even releasing the movie was risky, and while he couldn't remove him from the project, he said that Do-won should at least reflect on his actions. Many reporters understood how many problems Do-won had caused with his irresponsible behavior, and so he was voted among the rudest actors of the year. A more surprising celebrity who was named among the worst-mannered of 2024 was Gong Yoo, who wasn't even nominated for this category. He was voted the rudest actor of the year by 4 reporters who haven't forgiven him for his political comments. After the recent martial law crisis in South Korea and the political turmoil that followed, some controversial comments made by Gong Yoo in the past have resurfaced. In an interview from 2005, he was asked who he thought were admirable men, and he answered, "My father, Michael Jordan, and Park Chung-hee." While the first 2 names were understandable, the third one raised a lot of red flags. Park Chung-hee was the president of South Korea from 1962 until 1979, and he's one of the most controversial figures in the country's history. He took power through a military coup and led South Korea as a dictator, suppressing dissent and declaring martial law. After the recent political crisis, Gong Yoo clarified that he was young and naive when he made this comment, and like most Koreans, he felt frustrated about the recent events. In any case, his admiration for such a controversial figure has made many Koreans uncomfortable, and many think he was disrespectful for praising a dictator. Meanwhile, Jeon Do-yeon was criticized for her awful behavior during interviews, receiving 4 votes as the worst-mannered celebrity of the year. She faced a lot of backlash in August 2024 when she was promoting her upcoming movie, Revolver. During an interview, she discussed her recent appearance on the TV show You Quiz on the Block with comedian Yoo Jae-suk, and her apparent discomfort when talking about the show drew a lot of negative attention. Many criticized Do-yeon's behavior, pointing out that she was too stubborn and couldn't accept jokes that were meant to be funny, and that her reactions made everyone around her uncomfortable. She was also criticized for using a popular celebrity, such as Jae-suk, for promotion while refusing to accept his jokes. Other reporters even stated that Do-yeon clearly didn't like the movie she was starring in, adding that she refused to take responsibility for promoting the project despite the fact that she was the leading actress. Another actor who has been criticized for being quite rude is Lee Sun-kyun, but his case is very different. His nomination among the worst-mannered actors has surprised many netizens because on December 27, 2023, he passed away after taking his own life. While his passing was mourned by many, reporters haven't forgotten the many scandals that affected him in his final months. At the end of 2023, Sun-kyun was being investigated for using illegal substances and was banned from leaving South Korea. He denied the accusations and tested negative on each test, but the investigation continued. At the same time, Sun-kyun was also blackmailed by a woman who extorted a lot of money from him. All of these scandals contributed to his decision to take his own life, but with his passing, he also brought with him numerous secrets. Many reporters think that Sun-kyun's actions before his passing drew a ton of negative attention, adding that he brought a lot of discomfort during interviews with his bad manners. Some reporters also stated Sun-kyun's personal issues caused countless problems for the people who worked with him. Others even added that while his passing was tragic, he was glorified too much, and his inappropriate behavior shouldn't be forgotten. The passing of Son Yejin is also linked with the reason 18 reporters voted veteran actress Yeon Jung as the worst-mannered celebrity of the year. Despite being an Oscar-winning actress, Yoo Jung has often been at the center of a lot of criticism for her rude and inappropriate comments. This year, she faced a ton of backlash, especially for her statements while promoting her latest movie Dog Days, stunning netizens and journalists. The most controversial comment she made was blaming Son Yejin's passing on reporters with baseless accusations, leaving everyone dumbfounded. Many journalists criticized her, saying that there was no logic behind her statements, and adding that even though she's a great actress, she should still watch her words during interviews. However, her apparent awful behavior goes beyond her controversial statements. Many reporters complained about Yoo Jung smoking during interviews and speaking in an informal manner that belittled the reporters. Some journalists added that she kept asking every reporter their age and criticized her for acting annoyed at every single question. No matter how much respect she's earned in the entertainment industry, reporters just can't justify Yoo Jung's alleged rude behavior, and many are asking her to show a level of respect that matches her global fame. While various celebrities have acted rudely or disrespectfully this year, Jung Woo-sung has shocked the entire entertainment industry with his despicable actions, earning the title of the worst-mannered actor of 2024 with 22 votes from reporters. Since November, he's been at the center of a huge scandal that exploded when model Moon Gabby revealed that she secretly had a child a few months earlier and then announced her retirement from modeling to focus on being a mother. The father was soon revealed to be Woo-sung, who apparently didn't want anything to do with his newborn child. Allegedly, Woo-sung met Gabby numerous times despite the fact that they weren't dating, and when Gabby gave birth, Woo-sung refused to get married to her, and he didn't want to take care of the child. In the midst of the scandal, all of Woo-sung's secrets started to be uncovered. It was soon revealed that he was also dating a non-celebrity who was 25 years younger than him and had no idea that Woo-sung had a secret child. Even worse, Woo-sung was also apparently in a long-term relationship with a third woman who cheated on her husband to stay with him. Allegedly, when this woman tried to break up with Woo-sung, he promised that he would marry her after obtaining custody of the child he had with Gabby. Among the many reports of his infidelity, it was also revealed that Woo-sung was sending flirtatious DMs to random non-celebrity women online. After this scandal exploded, netizens pointed out that Woo-sung previously took part in a campaign to support single mothers in 2018, gaining a lot of praise for his activism, but now he was the one forcing his partner to raise her child alone and was even trying to take the baby away from her. With his reputation already destroyed by the scandal, Woo-sung made his first public appearance since the controversy exploded when he accepted an award at the Blue Dragon Film Awards at the end of November. During his speech, he tried to turn things around by apologizing and accepting the criticism, claiming that he would take care of his child. However, netizens can't forgive him for his actions, and even the celebrities who applauded Woo-sung's speech have been harshly criticized. Reporters also pointed out how his behavior is inexcusable, with some saying that he had a negative impact on the entire Korean entertainment industry. Journalists argued that he ruined the Blue Dragon Film Awards ceremony with his speech, turning off the festive vibes of the event. Others said that because of him, the movie 12/12, the day in which he starred and was one of the most popular Korean films of the past few years, has become unwatchable. Some reporters stated that Woo-sung used his good looks to take advantage of several women, and that his actions were so horrible that his reputation would never recover. Reporters blamed Woo-sung's many scandals on his ill manners, and with his real-life behavior finally exposed, it's no surprise that now netizens and reporters think he's the rudest celebrity in Korea. But before the most recent names were exposed, reporters had already called out a long list the year before. It's not unheard of for Korean actors to be labeled as rude by the media, but some cases are actually pretty awful. From Song Joongki, Park Seo-joon to Han So-hee, South Korean reporters had no mercy last year when it came to judging these celebrities. Over 50 film journalists and reporters gathered together to vote for the rudest Korean actors of 2023, and their revelations will most definitely surprise you. Sports Kyung-hung annually holds this poll and asks movie journalists to decide what actor had the worst attitude in the past few months. This time, 50 55 reporters gathered to vote, and Hwang Jung-min was voted as one of the rudest Korean actors. 18 out of 55 journalists voted for him as the actor with the worst attitude whom they've ever worked with. The reasoning behind it is not what you may expect though. Hwang Jung-min is 53 years old and he's starred in many successful movies and dramas. He's a well-established actor and you may have seen him in Narco Saints or The Point Men along with Yeon Bin. Although he's busy filming and has a successful acting career, he angered Korean journalists last year as he refused to give interviews and attend Korean shows. According to the reporters, this issue has been recurring in the last 5 years as he kept on refusing to talk to Korean media outlets and instead appeared on various YouTube channels to promote his work. Korean journalists perceived this as a betrayal, and they also criticized him for leaving most of the promotional work for his other colleagues instead of taking part in promoting the movies and dramas along with them. Although he didn't specifically do anything wrong to these reporters, they hold a grudge against him due to his lack of cooperation. However, the reason for his attitude may be that Jung-min is just trying to protect his privacy and wants to do interviews in a more comfortable setting. That's why he's probably attending interviews on YouTube rather than on TV. Another reason for his reluctance to answer the journalists' questions may be his fear of his words being taken out of context or misinterpreted, which is often done by the reporters. We cannot blame him, and it looks like he doesn't need to do interviews as his acting speaks for himself. Another 14 reporters voted for Jong Tae-won. Although he's not an actor but a director, he still found himself on this list. But the reasoning for this one is even more ridiculous than the previous case. According to the journalists, Tae-won hurt them with his words during his promotional activities for his movie Marrying the Mafia Returns. Whatever the case was, the reporters cited his statements as something that hurt them. Supposedly, Tae-won once said during a press conference that the media's negative reviews hurt him so much that it felt like being shot by these reporters. The reporters in question took offense to that and decided to dub him as one of the Korean celebrities with the worst attitude. But to us, it seems like he was just trying to be honest about how he felt. Isn't it natural to be protective of one's own work? Song Joongki and Lee Dong-hui received the same amount of votes from the reporters. Both got 12 votes for supposedly having a horrible attitude towards reporters who asked them questions about their romantic lives. If you don't know, Lee Dong-hui is dating the well-known actress Jong Ho-yeon, who had her acting debut in Squid Game and took the world by storm right after. Earlier in February 2023, he was doing promotions for his movie Maybe We Broke Up, and the conference got a bit tense after the reporters kept pushing him to answer questions about his personal life and how his relationship with Ho-yeon was going. Since his movie was about a romantic relationship, it wasn't that unexpected that he was asked about his real-life experiences, but what was a bit out of place was the way these reporters kept nagging him. It got to the point when Dong-hui actually blatantly refused to answer the questions about his romantic life. However, he had a very good reason for doing so. Dong-hui said, "I've been asked that question for my previous movie, and I had an interview with my senior, but I saw that issue appeared on real-time search at number 1 and number 2. I hope all of my movies can shine no matter what kind of work they are. I hope people won't mention Jong Ho-yeon when I'm talking about my work. I'm asking for your understanding." As you can see, the reason why he refused to answer these questions was that when he did so in the past, the journalists didn't write articles about his work, but about his personal life, which overshadowed the hard work that he and his colleagues put into their movies and dramas. But the journalists didn't take this lightly and considered his attitude rude. One of the actors who made a surprising appearance on the list was Park Seo-joon, who was dubbed as unbearable by the journalists. It all stems from his promotions for the movie Concrete Utopia. According to the reporters, Seo-joon had a poor and unfriendly attitude at the press conference for the movie, and he allegedly wasn't easy to work with. Although Seo-joon has been criticized several times for his attitude in the past, it was in 2023 that he was embroiled in a pretty trivial controversy that sparked rumors of him being unfriendly. During the conference for Concrete Utopia, his co-star Park Bo-young offered him a headband. To many international viewers, this may come across as stupid, but wearing headbands and doing various cute poses is part of Korean promotions, and it's often done at fan meetings or press conferences. The thing that caused the most turmoil was that Seo-joon rejected Bo-young's headband and refused to put it on. You can imagine how wild the internet went when they found out about this because it was all captured on a video. Many jumped into the conclusion that he was rude and acting entitled and at the same time hurting the feelings of his co-star and her fans. The situation got so out of hand that Seo-joon actually had to step in and speak up about this issue to clear his name. He revealed that he sweats a lot during the conferences and fan meetings, and so his hairstylist used a lot of hairspray that day to keep his hair up during his promotions. That's why he didn't want to put the headband on, as it would mess up his hair. He had also shared that he thought that the 2 headbands were a gift from Bo Young's fan and that he didn't want to hurt their feelings by taking it. Sojun ended his statement by labeling the situation as a misunderstanding, which it clearly was, but it appears that the journalist didn't take it lightly and still hold it against him. Surprisingly, Sojun's co-star from Gyeong Song Creature has also been labeled as rude recently. Han So-hee attended the Paris Fashion Week at the beginning of March, and she came under fire for yelling at people in the audience. While reporters were trying to take photos of her, someone was heard causing chaos in the audience, and So-hee ended up screaming at them to keep quiet. People who saw the video didn't take it lightly and started to criticize So-hee for her behavior, going as far as claiming that she was blackout drunk, and some even alleged that she didn't look normal. However, her yelling wasn't the only video that went viral. There were actually more clips from that night that made So-hee a target of accusations of her being rude and on something. During the night, So-hee was acting very animatedly, and she sometimes made sudden movements that made her look strange on camera. In one clip, after blowing out candles on the cake, she began to play with them and made odd faces, while in another video, she's seen interacting with the DJ, making various expressions which netizens found very out of place. The things got so bad that not only was she being labeled as rude, but some started to allege that she was taking substances, which is simply a horrible thing to say about anyone. What happened that night was that her makeup stylist tried a different look on her, which made her eyes look unusual, and so no matter what she did, she looked a bit too animated. It seems like the reporters have an issue with any actor who goes against their inhumane ways of covering their private lives and who refuses to comply with their requests. And it's not just the press. Behind the scenes, staff share even more stories about the actors who make every set a nightmare.
We never know what our favorite actor's true personality is. Some might be two-faced, unprofessional, and even rude. So one thing to get a glimpse of their true personality off screen is from the people close to them or around them, like the staff members that they work with, reporters, and insiders. The community portal site called DC Inside held a survey on stars whom you don't want to meet as senior trainers at work, which was conducted from January 16th to January 22nd, and garnered a total of 12,671 votes. Actress Son Yejin ranked 3rd with 1,521 votes, which is 13% of the total votes. But why was she placed 3rd? If you guys remember, Yejin had a really tough year back in 2021 and was the center of several controversies. It all started with Yejin getting embroiled with her ex-boyfriend Kim Jong-hyun on the issue of being rude on set. It was reported that his rude behavior on set was all because of Yejin. Dispatch leaked text messages between Kim Jong-hyun and Son Yejin revealing that the two were in a relationship while Jong-hyun was filming the drama Time. The conversation makes it appear that Son Yejin was controlling the actor by demanding he avoids any kind of skinship with Sohyun, and worse, to have the script change if it involved any romantic scenes. Yejin also told Jong-hyun not to greet the staff or make eye contact with any women on set. Jong-hyun agreed to all that, and apparently he needed to send videos to prove it as well. We have to say, Jong-hyun ended up being rude on set all because of Yejin controlling him and demanding him what to do and what not to do. But one netizen has spoke up and claimed to have worked directly with Son Yejin in the past and exposed that the staff members in her company would prefer not to work with her. The alleged staff would even get to the point of begging the company not to assign them to Yejin. Even though she didn't want to work with Yejin, she had no choice since the company would tell her to just suck it up and do her work to help further her career. The former staff then shared details on how Yejin would treat the staff members around her. While working, she would always curse at them and would intimidate everyone, use hurtful words and other scary methods that made the staff afraid of her. Furthermore, Yejin would also allegedly smoke while waiting inside the car and not care for the staff's health. The staff stated, if we made even the smallest mistakes, she would yell at us while blowing smoke in our faces. It's definitely hard to believe that Yejin could have done these things. It would be much easier if the staff had some proof to back up the accusation, right? Well, it turns out getting evidence against Yejin's alleged mistreatment was a hard thing to get. According to the former staff, Yejin would often check their phones to prevent them from recording anything that she says or anything that she does. Turns out it wasn't only Donghyun who had experienced Yejin being so controlling, but so were her staff members. Yejin's mistreatment towards her staff greatly affected their mental health. The former staff member shared, I regret not saying anything and letting the days pass as I suffered mental distress while working for you. Regarding this allegation, Yejin nor her company has given any statement. In another media outlet, Sports Kyunghyun conducted a survey with 34 Korean film industry reporters to determine the winners of South Korea's very own own Raspberry Awards, which was inspired by the Golden Raspberry Awards in the US. The media outlet asked industry reporters to cast their votes in a total of 3 categories. First is the worst film of 2022, second is the worst actor of 2022, and lastly, the actor with the worst manners of 2022. Actor Nam Joo-hyuk took 3rd place and received 6 votes. He was chosen by some reporters due to his absence during the film's promotion period due to his alleged underage drinking controversy. Around July 2022, Nam Joo-hyuk was allegedly accused of underage drinking. A slightly blurry screenshot of a computer screen that was uploaded on the classic blogging platform Cyworld in September of 2011 resurfaced. Out of all of the individuals caught by the camera, the second figure from the left is the only figure whose face was caught clearly and was allegedly actor Nam Joo-hyuk. In the photo, it can also be seen that in front of the boys by the right corner of the photo, there were a few green bottles with blue caps, which were believed to be soju bottles. Below the photo that was uploaded, a brief description was added and states, "A shot of Joo-hyuk." If the person in the photo was indeed Nam Joo-hyuk, the photo would have been taken when he was still in his 2nd year of high school since he was born in 1994. But his underage drinking accusation was basically brought up just to add fuel to the fire because during that time, he was in the middle of an investigation of him getting accused of hurting his schoolmates during middle school and high school. One incident also pointed out Joo-hyuk being rude towards his co-star Bae Suzy. Joo-hyuk and Suzy starred in the 2020 drama Startup. In a behind-the-scenes making film video, it showed the filming of a kiss scene for Suzy and Nam Joo-hyuk. Both were getting ready to film their kiss scene, but after filming one take, Joo-hyuk asked Suzy what she ate for lunch. The question made Suzy quite embarrassed, so to remove the awkward situation, she answered that she had noodles and asked if she smelled like one. After that, Nam Joo-hyuk continued to show a joking attitude and went on to ask Suzy if the noodles smell like samhap. Samhap is a form of fermented fish dish, the hongohoe, that is served with kimchi and pork belly. Suzy at that time could only cure her embarrassment by slapping Nam Joo-hyuk's hand and asking, "Why are you asking me what I ate right after a kiss scene?" Because of this comment, many netizens have pointed out that Nam Joo-hyuk was being rude to Suzy by asking her if she ate the samhap dish right after the kiss scene because it could imply that she has bad breath. Actress Kim Tae-ri took up 2nd place with 11 votes. The actress is reported to have the worst attitude, with one reason being her rude behavior during interviews. Tae-ri was seen distracted during a press conference because she was doodling aimlessly on a piece of paper while answering questions and behaving just like a high school student. Because of her action, reporters criticized her and stated as if she is the high school student Na Hee-do had walked right off the screen. Another reporter also commented, "It seems like she has Na Hee-do disease. She acts like a free-spirited person, but it's just an excuse to not pay attention and act unprofessional." Na Hee-do being a reference to her character in 2521. After this, netizens listed potential reasons behind Kim Tae-ri's attitude controversy. In a YouTube video, it is indicated that Tae-ri once said in an interview that she had cut off her elementary school best friend's other friends because she didn't want her to play with anybody else and wanted her for herself only. She badmouthed and spread rumors about her best friend behind her back so that no one would befriend her anymore. Despite what she said, they had remained friends, and her friend even relies on her, claiming that she had trained her that way. The video also claimed that Kim Tae-ri stole a film director's watch because she liked to steal things. She confessed this fact outwardly and even revealed that the director still has no idea about it. Another reason she was named as one of the worst-mannered celebrities is her lack of humility. She shared that after filming The Handmaiden and Mr. Sunshine, she's afraid of going out because of the big wave of fans who will notice her due to her fame. In another interview, Tae-ri stated that there is no need to hide anything and that it is hard to find someone who doesn't like her. However, some fans came to her defense saying that she's only misunderstood due to her personality since she's just honest, direct, and sarcastic. Actor Ma Dong-seok sits in the 1st place in the survey and was voted the actor with the worst manners with a total of 20 votes. Ma Dong-seok reportedly refused to participate in any press interviews because of his hectic schedule, despite appearing in Lee Sang-young's The Roundup, which was the sequel to The Outlaws, as both a lead actor and a producer. The industry insiders believe that at that time, Dong-seok hoped the film would be a success, but didn't want to be interviewed. Instead, the actor's management simply provided a series of questions and answers. Dong-seok stated that since he is the producer, he refused to participate in any interviews and handed them over to the other actors. Dong-seok's publicity method makes people feel like he is a virtual character who doesn't actually exist, despite being a part of the main cast. A reporter claimed, "He needs to put in the effort if he wants the best for his work." Another reporter also commented, "The whole cast, except Ma Dong-seok, promoted their movies with press conferences and interviews. Is this some kind of power trip?" Even though he invested in and directed this movie, it just shows that he doesn't have the heart to promote it and clearly thinks that the press is a waste of time. Ma Dong-seok once again opted out of all promotional activities Paris for the premiere of his movie Men of Plastic, leaving the rest of the cast to handle interviews and other promotions on their own. The awards commented, "It is simply unprofessional for the movie's lead actor to be MIA for the press." What are your thoughts on these actors being labeled as rude? Let us know in the comments.
Some actors don't just push boundaries, they completely ignore basic manners, leaving everyone around them frustrated. Working with celebrities really isn't for the weak because some of them are known to have awful manners. In K-dramas, most male protagonists are real gentlemen, but unfortunately, some actors aren't like that at all in real life. Kim Young-kwang might just be the perfect example of that, since he's been criticized for his terrible manners towards women quite often now. In a Vogue Girl interview, Young-kwang talked about the types of women he likes and made some very nasty comments. He said, "I hate anyone that looks pathetic. Anyone that looks like Song Joongki, I don't mind if they show up without their hair washed or something, but when someone whose physical appearance I don't like shows up like that, I don't even want to look at them." He made it worse by saying that the first thing he notices about a girl is their physical appearance, and that he hates it when girls have thick halves. Even more outrageous is that he shared that he decides whether he likes a person or not based on their appearance. He explained that he likes the people he surrounds himself with to be pretty, no matter what their gender is. His approach to meeting new people is that he tends to focus on their physical appearance, and from there, he decides whether he'd like to get to know the person more. Coming from a guy that's not exactly known for his looks, statements like these are pretty bold, not to mention that it makes him look like an incredibly shallow person, which no one likes. Not only has Young-kwang made female unfriendly comments, he also seems to look down on people who take on minor acting roles. During a variety show, he spoke about his rookie days and said, "I started off with minor roles, and as I was doing them, I felt really resentful. I was doing well as a model and thought, why do I have to do dramas like a fish out of water?" Netizens took offense to this, since it seemed like he was being condescending to unknown actors. It's not like everyone gets handed acting jobs on a silver platter. They all have to start somewhere. Moving on, let's talk about the trouble cigarettes cause, since Choi Hyun-wook was in a lot of trouble because of them. In October of last year, Hyun-wook received backlash when he was filmed improperly throwing away cigarette butts on a public street. It's a known fact that Koreans take their health measures very seriously, and they also don't particularly appreciate it when people just throw their trash everywhere. This video was taken by a netizen, who then uploaded it on an online forum. In the clip, Hyun-wook is seen holding a woman's hand while smoking a cigarette. Eventually, he's done smoking and he tosses the cigarette butt onto a public road where cars were parked. With this action, he's just adding to public pollution, which is considered to be extremely rude in Korea. So it's an understatement to say he was under fire. It's only natural to release an apology after being caught, and that's exactly what his agency did. They addressed the issue and apologized on his behalf, but that wasn't enough to satisfy netizens. As an addition, he personally apologized to his fans and his colleagues in a handwritten letter. He wrote, "I will humbly accept the criticism and advice that you have given me, and I will reflect on myself and work hard to show a more mature side of myself in the future." After the case went viral, Hyun-wook was forced to pay a fine of around $37 for improperly disposing of the cigarette butts. Some celebrities get a lot of heat for being rude to fans, and Park Shin-hye is all too familiar with that, considering she was under fire for allegedly throwing away a fan's gift back in 2011. At the time, Shin-hye went to Taiwan for promotional activities, and right after she left, rumors started circulating that she had tossed out her fan's gift. Some of her fans argued that she must have been too tired to pay attention to the gifts, but others thought that behavior was inexcusable. Netizens added that she had a very arrogant attitude towards her fans and even refused to take pictures with them. It quickly became a big issue, so Shin-hye was forced to respond to the rumors. Mentioning the gifts, she said, "I tried to bring them all back to Korea as long as they were handed into my hands. I even sent the presents back by mail since there were too many to carry with me." She apologized to fans for doing anything that might have caused this, and explained that it might have been the mistake of her staff that she never got some of the gifts. She promised to be more careful next time, and that proves that even the smallest wrong step can cause a celebrity to be labeled as rude. Did you know Kim Yoo-jung was once attacked for her lack of manners as well? Although fans love her now that she starred in My Demon, she wasn't all that loved back in 2016. In most of her roles, Yoo-jung plays an innocent, well-mannered girl, so it came as a big surprise to many when she was criticized for her disrespectful behavior. Problems arose when a questionable post started circulating online. It was titled "Kim Yoo-jung's Stage Manner Attitude" and contained an official preview screening of Because I Love You that was held on December 20th. Netizens took to the internet to massively voice their disappointment in Yoo-jung. Jung's behavior during the screening, word got out that she acted incredibly uninterested and seemed super distracted when it was time to formally greet the audience. It was said she kept paying more attention to her nails than the people in front of her, and that she would lean on one leg instead of standing up straight. Netizens admitted that she did bow later on, but they still wished she had acted a little more courteous and interested. Although it's not clear whether Yoo Jung actually meant to disrespect her fans, it was definitely interpreted that way by the public. As a result, her agency had to issue an apology, writing, "She's fully aware of all the problems that have arisen online about the preview screening, and she's currently deeply reflecting on her own attitude as a result of the controversy." In the end, her career didn't take too big of a hit, but it most likely made her more mindful on how to act when participating in public events. Next, let's talk about Ji Chang-wook's recent problematic behavior. He's been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. He got himself into a scandal while filming Welcome to Samdalri, one of his latest dramas. Online users shared several posts about behind-the-scenes clip in which Chang-wook wasn't exactly on his best behavior. In the video, the cast can be seen practicing their lines in a confined room. Netizens with a good eye for detail noticed that Chang-wook was actually taking a puff from his electric cigarette while rehearsing. Although the behind-the-scenes footage initially went unnoticed, it sparked a lot of controversy when netizens started posting about it. While a lot of Western people might think that smoking inside is not that big of a deal, in Korea, this is considered to be incredibly rude and appalling. This has everything to do with the strict health regulations that are in place there, which prohibit indoor smoking in most cases. Celebrities that have been caught smoking indoors have received tons of backlash, and some of them were even fined. After watching the footage, lots of fans expressed their disappointment in Chang-wook's behavior. Soon after the incident was spread all over social media, Chang-wook's agency decided to take action. As a way to do some damage control and save his reputation, they released an apology. They addressed the clip and confirmed that Chang-wook was smoking an e-cigarette inside and apologized to the public for causing any discomfort. They further stated they'd pay special attention in the future to make sure something like this doesn't happen again. Last up is Park Seo-joon, who was accused of being rude to a colleague. Last year, Seo-joon was busy holding promotional events for his movie Concrete Utopia. He had to work alongside Park Bo-young, who played his love interest in the film. During one of the events, a fan had prepared special headbands for both actors, but Seo-joon refused to wear his. The netizens shared that Bo-young wore the rabbit headband while holding the other headband in her hand. She had tried to give Seo-joon the fox headband, but he coldly rejected her offer. Taking the hint, Bo-young simply nodded and continued to hold the headband herself. This moment sparked a lot of outrage online, as people believe Seo-joon acted incredibly entitled. According to netizens, he made a gesture with his hand, suggesting that he had sprayed his hair down, which is why he didn't accept the gift. Despite this, he received a lot of criticism for his lack of enthusiasm, since fan service is really important during these promotional activities. Besides, people believed it was rude for him to just flat out reject Bo-young's offer. Since the interaction went viral, Seo-joon was forced to personally address the situation. He explained that he had his hair sprayed up that day and that he didn't think the headband was his, since a fan of Bo-young's gave them to her. Even though he apologized, some people were still iffy about the situation, especially keeping in mind his controversial past. Back in 2021, Seo-joon made some pretty questionable remarks when he was asked about his ideal wife. He basically said he wants a stay-at-home mom who only worries about his children. Not to mention, he said he's into skinny women who keep him worried, which according to people sounds misogynistic. Whatever the case is, his reputation hasn't been tarnished completely, and he's very loved by many. And it gets worse when the cameras aren't rolling. Some of the rudest behavior happens entirely off screen.
Who was accused of manipulating their boyfriend on the set of another drama? And whose image was ruined because of mistreatment accusations towards their staff? In today's video, we examine the actors who are most known for being rude towards their staff. Kim Jung-hyun. Everything seemed to go down for this Korean actor when April 8th of 2021 rolled in. On that day, it was reported that Jung-hyun had an ongoing dispute with his agency regarding his contract duration. The problem came when the agency found out Jung-hyun met with another agency behind their back when their exclusive contract hadn't ended yet. They claimed that the actor still had 11 months left in his contract, including the period when he was inactive due to personal reasons. This was in 2018 when Jung-hyun left the MBC's drama Time midway because of alleged health issues, but it was reported that the agency didn't count the time he took off as part of his contract duration. That's when the problem started. The agency revealed that the reason wasn't health issues at all, but there were issues with Jung-hyun's attitude since the press conference for the drama due to personal reasons involving involving a woman. That's what led to him ultimately leaving the show. When the cast for the drama Time gathered together for a press conference, Jung-hyun was soon criticized for his seemingly cold behavior towards his colleague So-hyun. On the footage that's available, the actor looks like he doesn't really want to be there, and his grim attitude made a lot of fans uncomfortable. When So-hyun offered to link arms with Kim Jung-hyun, he rejected her, and all of this quickly went viral online. When the reporters that were present noticed Jung-hyun's behavior, they asked him if he was in a bad mood. The actor replied that it was because he was so focused and dedicated to his role of a terminal patient who knows he could pass away any day, and according to him, it was hard to get out of that role. Many netizens didn't find this reasoning satisfying or convincing. A lot of them said that they felt uncomfortable with how cold and distant Jung-hyun was during the press conference. Some were quick to defend him, claiming that something must have happened to him before the press conference, as it seemed Jung-hyun was close to crying several times. What doesn't make this any better is that So-hyun was an actor senior to Jung-hyun, which in Korean culture made his behavior totally rude. But this whole drama gets crazier. A few days later, on April 11th of 2021, it was reported that Son Yejin was the one behind Jung-hyun's rude behavior towards So-hyun. Shortly after the whole controversy involving him and So-hyun, the actor left the show and took a break for about 11 months. He returned back with Crash Landing on You, but it seemed like the way he acted towards So-hyun wasn't forgotten. It was reported that the reason why he acted in such a disturbing way was because he was dealing with some issues with his girlfriend at that time. On April 12th of 2021, Dispatch revealed a series of text messages between Kim Jung-hyun and So Yejin. In these messages, Yejin tells Kim to be stiff and basically to be rude to others on set by not greeting them and smiling at them. She even asked him to go and request changes in the script. One person from the set even said he constantly requested to adjust the script on set. If his requests weren't met, he then ran out and dry heaved. In the text messages, So Yejin came off as incredibly controlling and manipulative as she ordered him around. Although people were quick to cancel her, as it was later reported, Jung-hyun demanded similar things from her as well when she was filming her drama, So Yejin. In the midst of the scandal between Jung-hyun and Yejin, she was facing another allegation of mistreatment against her former staff. On April 12th of 2021, a netizen came forward and claimed that they worked with So Yejin in the past, adding that staff members in their company preferred not to work with the actress. The staff revealed that there were times she begged the company's higher-ups not to assign her to work with Yejin. She revealed, "I didn't want to work with her, but they always told me to suck it up and do it to further help my career. I ended up working with her for a few years because of that." The former staff then continued to reveal the truth about the actress. Allegedly, Yejin would often cuss at her staff while working with them, and she allegedly used intimidation, verbal, and other disturbing ways to instill fear in the staff. The former staff member shared, "If we made even the smallest mistakes, she would yell at us while blowing smoke in our faces." Next, she shared that obtaining evidence of Yejin's mistreatment towards her staff was difficult since the actress would often check their phones to see if they recorded or captured anything she said or did. The former staff expressed, "I regret not saying anything and letting the days pass as I suffered mental distress and verbal while working for her." As previously mentioned, So Yejin was also accused of manipulating her ex-boyfriend. Surprisingly, she only recently released an apology. On February 27th, the actress posted a formal apology in which she says, "First, I sincerely apologize for the fact that I'm conveying my feelings so late through these written words. Seeing all of the reproach and the many things that have been said about me, I have been taking time to reflect on myself up until now. I would like to sincerely apologize for making many people uncomfortable due to my shortcomings. All of this stemmed from my immaturity, and I will work hard to behave more carefully in the future and show you a more mature version of myself." Although she finally apologized, people seem to still not be over her bad attitude, although she's a phenomenal actress. Jisoo. On top of being accused of the worst things possible, the actor Kim Jisoo was also accused of being extremely rude on sets and towards the staff working for him. On March 2nd, 2021, a post was uploaded to an online forum where Jisoo was accused of being a delinquent back in school. Just a few days later, on March 4th of 2021, another part of Jisoo's alleged dark past was revealed. One anonymous netizen who claimed to be a former staff member that worked with Jisoo commented on one of the posts about Jisoo's school behavior and said, "From working with Jisoo on the filming set for 3 months, it's true that he is a scumbag. He doesn't greet anyone when he sees them. He smokes, spits, and throws away the cigarettes anywhere he wants. He also treats his manager like his personal servant." The netizen further claimed that Jisoo allegedly ordered his manager around and treated them very poorly. According to the netizen, Jisoo is not a decent human being and has a terrible attitude. The netizen continued, "A person like him should never be allowed to be a public figure. Keep in mind that everything you see in the drama is 100% fake." Jisoo did release a public apology soon after he got swept up in the scandal and wrote, "I sincerely apologize to the people who suffered suffered because of me. There is no excuse for my past misconduct. They were things that cannot be forgiven. Upon my knees, I sincerely apologize to everyone who has been hurt by me. It's hard to determine if Jisoo knew about the allegations made by the former staff and if his apology is also directed towards them. Bae Suzy. Before we start, I'd like to state that all that is going to be said are just speculations, not facts, and that no one really knows if the things that I'm about to mention are truly referring to Suzy. So please take this with a grain of salt. In 2013, Korean media outlet Sports Soul released a video about a rude and disrespectful female idol and a two-faced male actor. In the video, they talked about a certain female idol group member that is getting very popular. They unfortunately didn't reveal the real name and beeped it out instead. In the description box though, they wrote that she was an active actress, her nickname was Nation's First Love, and her initial was B. The reporter said, B is currently the biggest issue. However, because of her rapidly growing popularity, we have heard that she is getting arrogant and she is being criticized by reporters, broadcast PDs, and broadcast station personnel. She's always late to her photo shoots, and when it's time for her to resume filming after her break, she gets annoyed. Not only so, but she uses profanity that is not befitting for a female idol. The reporter also shared that there were rumors that B didn't want to film and ran off the set completely. B was also allegedly called the rudest among all the girl group members. It was because of the nickname Nation's First Love that people suspected it could be Miss A Suzy. On the other hand, there aren't many clues about who the two-faced male actor could be. The reporter revealed some information about him and said, even though he is well known for his manners, other actors are shaking their heads at his two-faced personality. Because of his recently faltering health, he orders his staff members to fetch him tea or give him a massage. If they're even a bit late in doing his chores, he gets annoyed and angry at them. The reporter added that the male actor is only nice in front of the reporters. Unfortunately, we might never know who these people are since all Korean actors look nice and kind at first sight, but from everything we've seen lately, it could be anyone.
These bad habits aren't just annoying, they can be warning signs that make working with them risky for everyone. While many Korean actors seem like good guys, others have been revealed to be huge red flags because of their controversial and insulting remarks about women. One of these is surely Park Seo-joon, who came under fire because of his views on the role of women. Despite being one of the most popular and beloved actors in Korea, known for his roles in famous dramas such as Fight for My Way and What's Wrong with Secretary Kim, many changed their opinion on him in 2021, when one of his old interviews from 2014 resurfaced online. In this interview, he spoke about his ideal type and revealed that his future wife should leave her job to focus entirely on raising their kids and taking care of the family, adding that he would never change his mind about this. He continued with his controversial remarks by saying that kids should be raised by their mother, and if they're not, they end up becoming problematic or even delinquents. He added even more controversial remarks when he was asked about what features attract him, and he stated his belief that tall and skinny women tend to be better at living alone. All these statements raised a lot of red flags, and Seo-joon received a ton of backlash online. Many netizens called his beliefs old and patriarchal, pointing out that countless children grow up just fine with working mothers. Others even said that, knowing that he holds these beliefs, it would be impossible to look at him the same way again. Seo-joon lost many fans because of his remarks on women, but what Kim Young-kwang has said was even worse, and his statements almost ruined his entire career. The controversy exploded in 2013 when Young-kwang's popularity was on the rise, and he had an interview with Vogue. He was asked what kind of physical appearance he doesn't like, and he stated, "I hate anyone that looks pathetic, anyone that looks like Song Joong." He then added that he disliked some people's appearance so much that he couldn't even look at them. These statements were already quite awful, but he made everything much worse when he started to talk about women and revealed, "I hate thick calves." Netizens were understandably furious about this interview, and Young-kwang was accused of body shaming. One comment pointed out that there's a clear difference between saying, "I like people that are pretty and handsome, and I don't like people that are ugly." Others instead commented that it seemed like Young-kwang was judging people just based on their appearance, and many stated that they completely lost interest in him after his controversial remarks. Young-kwang then tried to clarify his statements, saying that it was just a huge misunderstanding and argued that he was just joking and didn't mean to disrespect anyone. Netizens immediately pointed out that he didn't even apologize, and many began to believe that his career was basically over at this point. Young-kwang later apologized, while the editor of the interview defended him him, saying that some of his explanations were cut to fit everything into a limited number of pages. However, this didn't end the controversy, and in fact, things got even worse for Young Kwang when another interview from 2008 resurfaced online. Back then, he was in the early days of his acting career and had just broken up with his girlfriend. He didn't reveal the reason behind the split, but he still started to talk about women, saying that he was looking for someone who's smart and cute and dresses well. He could have stopped here without causing any controversy, but then he added, "What I think is ugly is when women with thick thighs and short legs wear skinny jeans, or those that wear leggings and a mini skirt and sit with their legs spread open on the subway. I sincerely ask those people to stop." This time there was no excuse, as no one had asked him about this, and these statements were just a clear example of body shaming. Young Kwang once again apologized, but at this point it was obvious that all his remarks about women weren't misunderstandings, but his actual thoughts. Many netizens were done with him, and Young Kwang's career struggled for years after this controversy. Park Hae-jin also made quite a lot of controversial statements about women and was accused of body shaming. These remarks go back to the early days of his career when he appeared on a TV show and randomly told MC Kang Soo-jung that she should lose some weight. He also gave various controversial suggestions to other female celebrities, arguing that Shin Bong-sun needed to diet, that Park Mi-son should use Botox, and that Jo Yoon-hee instead needed whitening products. And this isn't all, as Hae-jin made several other controversial remarks, including calling So In-young a gold digger and criticizing the appearance of transgender women. When all these statements resurfaced, some commented that he seems obsessed with the appearance of women and that his remarks are disrespectful and rude. Another actor that faced backlash for his comments about women is Yoo Yeon-seok. The controversy originates from an interview that he held alongside Moon Chae-won while promoting the movie Mood of the Day, in which they were starring together. They were asked what kind of outfit a woman should wear on a date, and Yeon-seok stated that a woman should wear see-through clothes if she's interested in dating a man. Otherwise, according to him, wearing a turtleneck would send the message that she isn't interested. Chae-won then said that she often wears turtlenecks and long pants, and Yeon-seok immediately told her, "That's the reason you don't have a boyfriend." Chae-won looked very uncomfortable, and Yeon-seok's words caused an uproar online. Netizens called him impolite and criticized him for judging women based on their outfit, with many fans disappointed by his misogynistic statements. Another case of misogyny by a Korean actor revolves around Yoo Ah-in. While he's been at the center of an illegal substances scandal since last year, this wasn't his first controversy, and in the past he was accused of being anti-feminist. This issue exploded in 2017 when he commented on an innocent tweet by one of his fans by saying, "Ever been beaten up by a zucchini?" In Korea, the word zucchini is used as a metaphor for a man's private parts, so netizens immediately criticized him, calling his reply misogynistic. Ah-in responded angrily to the criticism, saying that he just made a joke and shouldn't be attacked for this. He then played the victim and insulted feminists, making the debate more heated. He even told people to stop following him and ridiculed the netizens who were criticizing him by mockingly praying for them, saying, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Please save them." This surely didn't calm down the controversy, and in fact, it only made things worse. In the midst of the scandal, a controversial K-pop trainee, Han So-hee, intervened and said that Ah-in is just a misogynist who's cosplaying as a feminist in public. He responded by referring to the accusations that So-hee was using illegal substances, and the online quarrel between the two went on for a while. At the same time, the debate on feminism, which is already quite heated in South Korea, became a hot topic among netizens. Ah-in then posted a long letter on his Instagram page denying the accusations of misogyny and claiming that he's really a feminist, but his attempt at ending the controversy wasn't really a genuine apology. He later went on to comment again on gender issues, arguing that women are discriminated against, but many still remember his misogynistic comments, which made him a huge red flag. An Bo-hyun was also accused of being anti-feminist, and many now regard him as a red flag. In 2021, he came under fire when the list of YouTube channels he was subscribed to was revealed. Among various celebrities and famous YouTubers, there were quite a few controversial names too, including a channel that was known for spreading fake rumors about celebrities in the Korean entertainment industry. One of the channels that Bo-hyun was following was even more controversial, as it belonged to a YouTuber who had criticized a feminist professor and even argued that all feminists are delusional. The channel is infamous for targeting women and ridiculing them. When Bo Hyun's subscription list was revealed, netizens were very disappointed, with many arguing that he had just ruined his good guy image and others stating that they don't like him anymore, since following that YouTuber suggests what his beliefs are. This controversy resurfaced in 2023 after it was confirmed that Bo Hyun was in a relationship with Jisoo of Blackpink. And this isn't all, as other issues about his problematic behavior toward women were revealed. The new scandal exploded when netizens found a behind-the-scenes clip from the 2021 drama Yumi's Cells, in which Bo Hyun had a leading role. In the clip, the actor can be seen looking at a script in the background, while a female staff member holds the script for him. Netizens were surprised to see Bo Hyun's attitude on the set and criticized his behavior, with some saying that he was mistreating the staff member. The woman was later revealed to be Bo Hyun's stylist, and she defended him by saying that he's a good person and shouldn't be condemned just for a short clip. Nevertheless, some netizens still saw this as a confirmation of his misogynistic behavior. Just a couple of months after their relationship was confirmed, Bo Hyun and Jisoo broke up, citing their busy schedules as the reason. However, the real reason might have been revealed sometime later when Bo Hyun talked about his future. He was asked if he wanted to get married and start a family at some point, and revealed that family is his priority, and it's even more important than acting for him. However, he also stated that he doesn't want to get married at all. This issue, along with the accusations of misogyny, might have very well contributed to his sudden split with Jisoo. And unfortunately, some of the worst behavior goes far beyond rudeness, crossing into truly unacceptable territory.
Korean actresses and stars have been ruthlessly criticized for their looks by the audience way too many times. But what about those times when it was their co-stars or friends from the industry who made these kinds of comments about women in general? Yoo Yeon-suk. Sometimes even those who charm you on the screen are not the ones you should ever look up to or listen to. Known for his roles in Hospital Playlist, Dr. Romantic, and Mr. Sunshine, Yoo Yeon-suk got the audience swooning because of his acting skills and looks. He gained quite a big following, but it all went downhill when he made some really questionable remarks about women. During a press conference for his movie Mood of the Day with his co-star Moon Tae-won, he was asked about what type of clothes he would like a woman to wear on a blind date. And his answer made fans and non-fans alike very angry. Yeon-suk said, "Maybe see-through? If a woman was on a date with me and she wore something like that, I'd think she was interested in me. If she's covered up to her neck like a prude, I'd think she was disinterested." Now, I'm not trying to be rude, but I think it's highly probable that at that moment, many women were no longer interested in him. To call a woman a prude for wearing something that covers her neck, while wearing a turtleneck himself, may I add, his co-star Moon Tae-won jumped into the conversation saying, "I wear a lot of turtlenecks," to which Yeon-suk replied in the worst way possible, "That's why you are single." Who does he think that he is? Clothing has nothing to do with you or how you perceive women, as each woman is her own person who can dress however they want. Not everything is a subliminal message for men to pick up on. And I'm not the only one who feels furious about this. People on Twitter were quick to comment on his behavior. One user said, "So he wants to feel like every woman is interested in him? I'm shocked. A man wanting to dictate the way women dress for this reason. How very egocentric of him, LMAO. If the woman sitting next to him is his co-star, get her away from this. She deserves better." Another Twitter user said, "I was in love with you in Hospital Playlist, but now you're cancelled. What a douche." Even though the video circulated online, I haven't found that Yoo Yeon-suk has ever made any kind of statement or apology for his comments. Did he change his opinions, or is he hiding his true opinions behind sweet acting roles on the screen? Park Hae-jin. Oh boy, where do I even start with this one? Park Hae-jin seems to have a thing for sharing any kind of comments, even if they make you freeze and rethink if he is for real or just trying to be funny while failing miserably. He made terrible comments in an Entertainment Relay interview to promote his drama Famous Princesses. The MC Kang Soo-jung asked him to introduce himself when he rudely said to her, "You need to lose some weight." One person said, "This isn't just being honest, it's being rude." Totally breaks my image of him, especially that comment to Kang Soo-jung. Sadly, this isn't the last comment that he made concerning someone else's weight. On the show Happy Together with Shin Bong-sung, Hae-jin talked about how he's the type to take care of his girlfriend before she tells him she needs anything. Then Shin Bong-sung asked him what he thought she needed. He plainly answered, "I think you need to diet." When another star in the show, Park Mi-sun, asked the same question, Yejin, he said that she needs some Botox. As for drama co-star Jo Yoon-hee, he said that she needed whitening products. Park Hae-jin seems like he doesn't have a filter to recognize what's okay to say and what isn't. There's a saying that you shouldn't point out something about people unless you can change it under 10 seconds, for example, like smudged lipstick. Someone should inform Hae-jin about this. In an interview, the actress Shin Bong-sung revealed about Park Hae-jin that he is a very close dongseng of hers. Many people are trying to use that as an excuse for his comments, sugarcoating the impolite comments he made about her, something along the lines of friendly banter. However, one netizen said, "He seems like he speaks what's on his mind, but for him to talk like that to people he isn't close with means he lacks consideration. I speak candidly with my close friends too, but if someone I don't know spoke to me like that, I'd feel really put off. You can't really call him out either because it's not like he's lying, just being really rude about it. His personality isn't the type that flows well in society." Bong-sun spoke very kindly about Hae-jin in an interview, revealing, "He was someone I couldn't dare to call Hae-jin-a. I always called him Prince Neem." On the other hand, when Park Hae-jin was asked if she was prettier back then or prettier now, he said, "How could you ask that? She didn't look like this back then. Her jaw area was wider and stuck out more back then." Basically, he exposed her for doing plastic surgery. There's nothing wrong with doing plastic surgery, but the person should have the right to disclose this information on their own terms. To this, one netizen said, "He's really obsessed with looks, isn't he?" Hae-jin also made some transphobic comments on a segment of another show. He said, "Before my debut, I went to a transgender bar with some friends. The madam of the pub sat next to me and I could see 280 millimeters of hardened skin on her hands and some stocky feet." He then added with a laugh, "They also work late, so at night you can see their 5 o'clock shadows start to appear around their mouths. I'm sorry, but this is totally unacceptable for a public figure to talk like this. I don't care that he's obsessed with looks, but some of these comments are crossing the line and being disrespectful to other people." The worst part? He never apologized for any of these comments. He probably thinks everything he said was just a harmless joke. So when will people start calling out stars for their rude behavior instead of canceling them for dating someone publicly? The Korean entertainment industry is truly a mess. Kim Yong-kwang. Body shaming is a huge issue in South Korea, as many of you probably already know. Just think about all the Korean stars who were subjected to criticism from the public for not even being overweight, but just for looking healthy. The skinny Korean beauty standard is sadly projected over the whole population. A 2016 national survey revealed that over 60% of Korean women and 41% of men either were or wanted to go on a diet. To see people who are skinny and still get photoshopped to look unrealistic on the covers of every magazine is bad enough. But what if a star you look up to also shares this toxic view? Kim Yong-kwang spoke his mind in an interview when he was asked about what kind of physical appearance he dislikes. He said, "I hate anyone that looks pathetic. Anyone that looks like Song Joong. I don't mind if they show up without their hair washed or something, but when someone whose physical appearance I don't like shows up like that, I don't even want to look at them." To make it even worse, he added, "I hate thick calves." How tone-deaf and self-entitled do you have to be to even say anything like that? In a society where people praise drastic and unhealthy weight transformations, how do you have the audacity to comment on people's calves? There's a line between having a subjective view of something like beauty, but hating people because you don't find them pretty is just way beyond the line. He dug himself an even deeper grave in this interview, further expressing his comments about people's looks. "Whether they be male or female, I like them to be pretty. I know it's not necessary to say things like this, but I'll look at someone's physical appearance and say, I don't like that person. I don't think they'll match me. Then my friends will be like, Hyung, you're really mean, you know that?" I think that mean is not a word expressive enough. His opinion about looks really shows how shallow of a person he is. You know it's really bad when your own friends call you out. And many netizens share similar opinions. One person said, "If Kim Yong-kwang hates people that are ugly with thick legs, then that's up to him. And if I hate on him for saying those things thoughtless, then that's up to me. In the end, you're responsible for the words you spit out." Yong-kwang's interview caused such backlash among netizens that he had to come out with a public apology. He said, "I'm sorry for disappointing those that have loved and supported me. Unlike my intentions, a part of my interview has brought about some misunderstandings that have both shocked and upset me." Publicly and explicitly being hateful towards people you don't find attractive is not a misunderstanding. His apology feels like a few words glued together just because he had to face the consequences of his own actions. One netizen summed it up perfectly. "Your excuse is pathetic. Didn't you say you hate pathetic people?" What's even worse is that this isn't his first time making hateful remarks towards other people's bodies. Another interview from the past came into the spotlight where Yong-kwang said, "What I think is ugly is when women with thick thighs and short legs wear skinny jeans, or those that wear leggings and a miniskirt and sit with their legs spread open on the subway. I sincerely ask those people to stop. People can dress however they want to, no matter what body type they have. The worst part about this topic is that I'm sure there are more men like this in the industry that we don't know about because they just haven't been called out on their misogynistic behavior. Whoever is watching this video, I hope you don't take these comments to heart. You are wonderful as you are. Don't let celebrities dictate how you should look.
And while this is a K-drama compilation, these issues aren't limited to Korea. Reporters and fans have also called out the rudest actors in China. While it's true that celebrities are people just like us, it still doesn't excuse the times when they're rude to others, and Chinese actors are no exception. Jo Dong-yu actually brought this conversation to light as people called out her behavior during Paris Fashion Week. On March 6th of 2024, Dong-yu attended the Louis Vuitton fashion show as the brand's house ambassador. However, it really didn't matter how gorgeous she looked at the event because her attitude really stole the show. In posts that have been removed, a fashion blogger named Yvette shared her experience at the event. Initially, she complimented the attendees at the event, noting that despite their busy schedules and the event being a work-related occasion, they made an effort to greet and engage with others, even snapping pictures together. However, this didn't apply to Dong-yu. According to Yvette, Dong-yu looked annoyed whenever she had to perform her duties and overall looked like she didn't want to be there at all. She didn't even want to take pictures with people and didn't return anyone's greetings. Yvette wrote, Louis Vuitton arranged for her to participate in photo sessions with VIP guests to enhance brand visibility, yet she consistently found reasons to decline, whether it was changing shoes, refusing to remove her coat, or simply appearing unhappy. Yvette was so bothered by her behavior that she even went as far as to complain about it to Louis Vuitton's executives. The story was then deleted, but that didn't mean that Yvette was done. In fact, she went into even more detail about how Dong-yu had behaved during the event. Yvette made sure to say that she didn't know Dong-yu personally and was just sharing her experience and what she had seen. She mentioned that the brand asked them to take photos together as it was part of Dong-yu's job to pose with customers. Only 5 clients were there, and the photos were meant to promote the show's looks. Yvette and her team didn't initiate anything. It was Dong-yu and her team handling the arrangements. She said that Dong-yu was pretty rude as she didn't even acknowledge Yvette and her team after they greeted her politely and said thank you to her. Yvette continued, stating that nobody forced Dong-yu to fulfill her responsibilities or wear specific attire. Initially, they picked celebrities for photos, but later everyone was asked to participate. Yvette suggested that if that was such a big problem for Dong-yu, she should maybe reconsider taking the job and adjust her mindset. Later, Yvette mentioned that while she respected the fact that everyone had their own personalities, Dong-yu's insistence on doing things differently became a source of concern for Yvette, prompting her to voice her thoughts on the matter. She said, as a consumer and a 20-year-old female student, why do I need to be careful with what I say? I've always been truthful and direct. Once the story became public, netizens had mixed opinions. Some of them said that it's unlikely that Dong-yu was rude to Yvette since she was seen being very polite and gentle to the show coordinator and other guests. Others went by the saying, where there's smoke, there's fire. This isn't the first time that Dong-yu was accused of rude behavior, so people weren't too far off to assume that the events that Yvette was recalling were true. Dong-yu has yet to respond to the accusations. Linda Chung was also faced with similar accusations. In September of 2022, a netizen ran into her at a store in Vancouver, Canada, where the two live. The netizen said that Linda was dressed very casually and wasn't wearing any makeup, but they still found her to be very beautiful, even prettier than she looked in her pictures. At some point, the netizen mustered up the courage to approach her, but since Linda was seemingly in a rush to leave, they didn't dare ask for a picture. They ended the post on a hopeful note, with them wishing that they could run into her again. While the post seemed nice enough, it opened a floodgate, as other people shared their own experiences of meeting Linda, and they weren't nice. One netizen in particular accused Linda of being nice only when she's in front of the camera. They recalled the time when they and their family met Linda and allegedly politely asked for a picture with her. The netizen went on to write, "It was pre-COVID, but she refused our request with a fearful expression on her face, as if she was scared of us. It was ridiculous." As usual, some believed she was fake nice, while others argued that she, like other celebrities, had every right to decline photos and prioritize their free time. But another netizen, who claimed to have worked as a crew member in a production company, said that Linda treated others terribly. According to them, she's very rude to those she deems to be beneath her, and apparently it's a known fact in the industry. They said, "She's really very two-faced. She can change expressions in just 1 second and return back to being super rude." Later, someone claiming to be Linda's neighbor mentioned running into her frequently at the local shopping mall. However, these encounters were consistent consistently distant. Even though they knew each other, Linda would deliberately avoid making eye contact and occasionally appeared hostile, scowling, or glaring. While this could just be the behavior of someone who's wary of strangers, the fact that a few people came out to say the same thing makes it seem like there might be some truth to it. While Zhao Lucy hasn't been called rude by anyone, she did receive some criticism over her unprofessionalism behind the scenes. In particular, there was an incident where she faced accusations of power tripping the staff members. A paparazzi shared a video showing Lucy requesting her assistant to help her put on her socks. According to them, she consistently treated the assistant like a servant and expected to be catered to in every way possible. In the video, you can see Lucy playing on her phone and with her dog while the assistant is putting her socks and shoes on her feet. Her dismissive attitude only made things worse for her, as netizens weren't pleased with the way she was behaving. And as the two aforementioned actresses, this wasn't the only time that she wasn't on her best behavior on set. It is said that some staff members complained that she often arrived late and left early and made unreasonable demands on the script. What is even more disappointing to fans is that during a public event, she showed obvious indifference and impatience towards her fans, which led to some angry reactions by others. Another issue that gets brought up the most when Lucy gets mentioned is the fact that she doesn't memorize her lines in time, causing inconvenience for the other actors on set. There have been multiple times in which her co-stars came to the set prepared, while Lucy learned her lines just a few moments before the cameras started rolling. In the past, Lucy has expressed how much she struggles with memorizing the script, but people still see it as very careless for her not to prepare the day before or even a few hours prior to shooting. For example, when she was filming Love Like the Galaxy with Wule, Lucy made her fellow actor hold her script up for her so she could study her lines. However, in the video, Lucy seems to be having fun with her co-stars and they don't seem to be complaining, so we can't exactly take this as an example of her rude behavior. Nevertheless, the allegations against the following actors are considerably more severe than the ones previously discussed, so brace yourself. Let's take as an example Su Xiaoding, who saw instant fame after starring in the hit drama The Knockout. All he had to do after this newfound instant popularity was accept more roles and lay low, but he couldn't do that. At first, he got criticized for changing his girlfriends and letting the fame get to his head, but then people found out that there were more problems with him. Last November, he was spotted urinating in public by the paparazzi after having a late dinner with his girlfriend and friends. His behavior was absolutely shocking, so Xiaoding had to apologize for his actions, and he promised to reflect deeply before apologizing once again. But even this isn't bad enough compared to what actress Zheng Shuang did. For all of you that don't know, Zheng Shuang was a legendary actress in the Chinese entertainment industry, despite her young age. However, the darling image she spent years building all came crashing down in 2021. In January of that year, her longtime partner Zhang Heng went on Weibo to accuse Shuang of leaving him stranded in the United States as he must take care of and protect two young and innocent lives. Shortly afterward, a friend of Heng provided the Chinese platform NetEase Entertainment with the birth certificates of the children. The documents disclosed that the children were born in the US to two different women in late 2019 and early 2020, with Shuang identified as the mother. This had everyone confused because, as far as everyone had seen, Shuang had been seen in public frequently and there was no visible sign of pregnancy. Then things got clearer and much more dramatic. The friend sent a voice recording to NetEase in which Shuang, her ex-partner, and their parents are heard discussing the future of the unborn children. This recording revealed that the couple had the children through surrogacy, but the situation had become more complicated as they had broken up. So Shuang's father straight up suggested that they abandon the children at the hospital. After Heng's father informs them that it's illegal to do so, Shuang's parents recommend that they give the kids up for adoption. At some point, Shuang expressed frustration when she learned that she can't terminate the pregnancies in the 7th month, which shocked everyone. In light of these accusations, Shuang said that the issue was private and said that her former partner was trying to extort her. Whatever the case was, Shuang lost her whole career after this scandal. Prada ended their partnership with her, and other brands such as London jewelry brand Lola Rose, Chinese cosmetics brand Kiocher, and hair care brand Aussie also distanced themselves from her. In an attempt to stop having their brands be associated with her, they also removed social media posts promoting her. As of now, Shuang is banned from the entertainment industry and erased from her dramas due to the surrogacy scandal and tax evasion accusations, so it's safe to assume that her career as an actress is over. As far as we know, Shuang is currently residing in the United States with no job and living on her parents' pension. She hopes that one day she can pay off her debts and get back in the acting industry, but it really doesn't seem likely. And when rudeness crosses the line, it can have serious consequences. Some actors' behavior was so extreme they were completely removed from their dramas.
In the so-called cancel culture era, people easily cancel someone for the tiniest mistakes they make. There have been multiple actors who went through this kind of situation. Kim Sun-ho. He earned the title Nation's Good Boy as he starred as the second lead in the 2020 drama Startup. Despite having that second lead syndrome, fans were still rooting for him and still on the team Good Boy until the end of the drama. By 2021, he finally got a lead role together with actress Shin Mina in the drama Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha. They showed good chemistry together and were even called as the adorable dimple couple. The drama was well received and many viewers tuned in each week to experience the healing effect that the story provided. But fresh after the finale, a rumor broke out. An unknown woman made a post on a forum claiming to be Sunho's ex-girlfriend. She went all out in her post, showing bitterness and expressed how hurt she was when she was promised a marriage and was manipulated to get an abortion to protect the man's career. Netizens quickly guessed it was Kim Sun-ho, then people made a petition to get him removed from the variety show 2 days and 1 night. His agency, Seoul Entertainment, added salt to the wound by saying they're investigating instead of denying the whole thing, which led to people speculating that there's truth to the accusations. Sun-ho admitted that she was his ex-girlfriend, saying, "I was seeing her with good emotions. In that process, I hurt her due to my carelessness and inconsiderate actions." He then apologized for his actions, which led him to lose movie projects and his spot on 2 days and 1 night. Despite it being proven false, fans find it unfair that Sun-ho had to leave 2 days and 1 night. Fans gathered and made a petition for Sun-ho to return to the reality show, but unfortunately, KBS turned down the petition. The show's producer Lee Hung-sung stated, "We would like to inform you that there was a preliminary consultation process between each other before announcing the official position. The production team is also disappointed that it will no longer be able to show the harmony of the 6 members who have been together for 2 years and have shown good chemistry." Through 2 days and 1 night, Sun-ho was able to show his different side and had a great chemistry with the other members, and it's also said that by appearing in the show, he was able to receive more offers and it helped him get exposed in the industry. An So-hyun. Child actress An So-hyun is well known as the main lead of director Bong Joon-ho's 2017 movie Okja. Around February 2020, it was announced that So-hyun would be taking up the lead role of the drama School 2020 together with Kim Yo-han. It was reported that the cast already had a brief script reading and are preparing for the drama's upcoming filming. However, on March 19th, media reports announced that actress Kim Se-don has been offered the female lead role in School 2020. Around the same time, So-hyun was seen sharing some cryptic messages on her Instagram account, such as, "Even these trials will pass with time. I'm going through something worse than the coronavirus right now. Why don't adults ever keep their promises? I've been waiting for School 2020 for 300 days. The following day, An So-hyun's side released an official statement saying, "I spent a long time preparing with the director and production company staff for School 2020, which I was very affectionate and passionate about, but I'm sad that in the end, the news of my departure has been conveyed like this due to several unexpected situations." But So-hyun's father has a story to tell as well. Her father claimed that the production team of School 2020 had secretly looked for another actress while An So-hyun took part in script reading with Kim Yo-han and the director. The production team was still open to look for a different actress because the final contract wasn't yet signed. Her father stated, "After she got the casting offer from director Han Sang-woo last May, she didn't look at any other projects and prepared for nearly a year. A few days ago, she even received a revised version of the script." The production company for School 2020 has strongly denied the claims made by An So-hyun's father. According to the company, her father's unreasonable demands caused the contract signing to fall through. The company stated, "During the negotiations for the casting contract with An So-hyun, her father made several unreasonable demands to the production staff. But despite her father's demands, the company still tried to cooperate at first for the sake of An So-hyun, but ended up not pursuing it. Because we were thinking of An So-hyun, we still intended to go through with the casting, but her father's demands became excessive to the point where it was hard for the production staff to handle. It was decided that it would be too difficult to continue this way." After the controversy, KBS then decided to cancel the production of School 2020. Jo Byung-gyu. You might have seen him in one of the hottest and most talked about dramas, Sky Castle, but Jo Byung-gyu has been acting for nearly 10 years and has a fair amount of good dramas and movies. But when he landed his lead role in The Uncanny Counter in 2020, he showed just how versatile he is as an actor. However, due to vicious rumors, he had to put his success on hold. Like Jisoo, Byung-gyu was accused of being mean in school. The accuser claimed that the actor had robbed him and mistreated him. But unlike Jisoo, Byung-gyu's agency and he both strongly refuted the allegations. The accuser eventually apologized and said that the allegations were untrue. Byung-gyu's agency also continued in taking legal actions, although the damage has been done. Byung-gyu already had to put off the project projects he was supposed to work on. But after a few years of being in a hiatus, Byung-gyu is finally back to star in a new movie titled Even If I Die One More Time, which will be released in the later part of 2022. Jisoo. Here's a case of another Mr. Second Lead who was finally given a lead role, but unfortunately had to cut the celebration short. Jisoo established his career purely because of his talent and became well known for his roles of the second male lead in well-known dramas like Strong Woman Do Bong-soon. Then came River Where the Moon Rises, where he finally got his lead role and starred with actress Kim So-hyun. As he was rising to fame, Jisoo was roped into rumors of school violence, which he had done prior to his acting debut, and was put under fire and received terrible backlash. It started when an anonymous person posted about his personal experience as Jisoo's schoolmate. He detailed how Jisoo and his group of friends made middle school life hell for those that they would pick on, and claimed that they physically and verbally mistreated them and also stole from them. He said there were multiple victims, and he wished Jisoo would not hide his past. He eventually admitted to those claims and apologized for his actions. He stated, "There was always a feeling of guilt about my past in the corner of my heart, and the regret that it was too late to turn back always weighed me down with a great anxiety. For those who have suffered for a long time because they had to see me as an actor, I will reflect on and regret my past, which I will not be able to wash away for the rest of my life." He also stepped down from the drama even though it was still ongoing, and his role was replaced with actor Na In-woo. But it doesn't end there. The drama production company even sued him and his agency for $2.6 million worth of damages. But after further investigations, Jisoo's law firm issued a new statement explaining that the creator of the post lied and made the accusations up. They stated, "The writer of the post reached out to the client's former agency to admit that the post was false and apologized. They were able to find the accuser through a search and seizure of the IP address and were able to receive a handwritten letter from him. The other accusers didn't speak up again though." Son Yejin. With the 2020 Netflix hit It's Okay to Not Be Okay, Son Yejin gained worldwide fame and captured everyone's heart with her wicked charms, which even landed her a nomination for a Big Song Arts Award for her acting in the drama. But just right after the drama ended, people started saying that off camera, she has similarities with her character's personality and would even label her as problematic. Some claim that she was a bully in school, while others say she mistreated the staff of the drama she starred in. As these issues were brought up, Yejin was about to star in a Gimnang-gil drama, which was one of the most anticipated works at the time. Talk about great timing, right? However, the biggest scandal that she got involved in, which resulted in her getting stripped of the role, was when she was embroiled in a gaslighting situation with her alleged ex-boyfriend Kim Jong-hyun. Reports say that she would manipulate the actor into doing things that could damage his career. Screenshots of their conversations were made public, and there it was revealed that Yejin reportedly forced Jong-hyun to not have any physical interaction with his co-star in his 2018 drama Time. He also acted unprofessionally during filming, like asking for a lot of script changes, especially when skinship was involved. One of the staff members confirmed that he was constantly on his phone and indeed kept on asking for changes in the script, saying, "He stressed the importance of platonic love and asked to have any physical contact taken out. If things didn't go his way, he would suddenly run outside and start gagging." He eventually left the drama and had to seek treatment for depression. Following the disclosure of these stories, Yejin's projects and endorsement partnerships were perceived unfairly by fans.
Rude behavior is just the beginning, and the truth behind the cameras is even darker than most fans realize. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next shocking revelations.